Hello! So, I filmed this video yesterday and I really wanted to sit down and refilm it because I just really wasn't in the right headspace. I can't even like think about it because it like really sets me off if I talk. I can't. See, this is why I haven't been able to film. I'm feeling a little bit better and not as, I don't know what yesterday was. It was just not, yeah. So last time I filmed an update was not a very happy update. It's when everything was going really wrong. Since then a lot has changed. It's been what, a month and a half, maybe a bit more. I have finished chemo. I only ended up doing one cycle of the stronger chemo instead of two because my body couldn't handle it. Everything went south pretty fast. I had a really rough time. I had every single symptom that you could get. I ended up in the emergency multiple times. I just had everything go wrong. I had infections, which are really serious when you're on chemo because your body can't fight it. I had things like my mouth was bleeding, like bleeding gums, blood blisters in my mouth. I had mucositis, which is like ulcers all over your throat and mouth, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't talk. So I just had a lot of symptoms. And then I think I was in the hospital like 4 or 5 times, and then by the last time that I was in there, my doctor came in and he was like, I think we're gonna call it quits with the chemo. Like, I think we're done, because my body quite literally was just like not handling it very well. And I was very glad that he was happy to do that, because I really don't know what would have happened if I kept going. I honestly felt like I was going to die. And I'm not saying that in like an exaggerated way. Like, I genuinely felt like my body was just going to give up and it couldn't do it anymore. So we ended up calling it quits a little bit early, which ended up being okay. We did another scan just to see how things were going, and they couldn't find any cancer in my body, which was a really great sign. So that chemo was obviously very powerful and strong, and that's why it was so harmful to me, but at the same time it cleared my cancer, so that was good. It took me a long time to recover from that. I'm still recovering, I'm still exhausted. I had a really rough time after I finished the chemo. I don't know why. Like, I really thought I was going to be one of those people that once I finished chemo, I was just going to be the happiest human alive and so thankful and happy and like ready to go. And it was quite the opposite. I was really down. I had really bad anxiety. I was having panic attacks. It was mainly the anxiety. It just hit me so hard. I don't know what happened and why, but I've read a lot about it, and apparently it's super common with people when they finish treatment. A lot of people say that after treatment is harder than during treatment, like mentally, and I would have to agree, and I'm not sure why. Like, I don't get it, but it's been like a really big struggle. I think it's just going through all of that and then getting thrown back into normal life is just, it's really hard. Even though I haven't been really thrown into normal life because I've still been isolated because of the virus. I haven't really left the house for nearly 6 months now. So for me, it hasn't been that much of a change. So yeah, that's why I didn't do an update. I had a lot of comments of people being like, well, why haven't you put an update up? It's been a month. And that's why. I just was having a really rough time, and I still am, but I feel like it's slightly better. But now the next step is radiation, which I start this coming Monday. Normally I wouldn't be this anxious about it, but because of the virus and a potential lockdown, I'm kind of crapping myself. I just don't want to deal with this right now. Like, I've been through 6 months of hell to come out of it and go through more isolation and more scared of being sick or dying, and I'm just not in the mood for it. This is something that I have to do. Like, it's not something we can delay, it's not something we can do an alternative to. I just have to go and get this radiation done, and mine's a little bit longer than the average person, of course, so I, instead of going for 2 weeks, have to go for 3.5 weeks every single day. So during the time where I should be most isolated, I have to leave the house every day and go to the hospital. So I'm just really nervous, because I'm hoping that other people are being smart and not going to the hospital and staying away from there. If you don't need to go, just don't go. I know they're cutting down on visitors and people that can go with you, so I just wish that I could stay home and hide. The fact that I've just been through 6 months of isolation, and I got excited that I could have a little bit of normal back in my life, and that just got taken away from me before I even got to do anything. Like, I still haven't been to grocery store, I still haven't seen my friends, I haven't really seen my family, because everyone is obviously staying away from me. Yeah, it's just been like kind of sucky to kind of feel like you get your freedom back and then it's like, oh yeah. I'm not too worried about going into the hospital every day. I feel like it's a relatively safe place to go. Radiation and the chemo sections are like opposite side to where the emergency is, so I feel like it's far, far away from where any sickness would be. The nurses and the doctors know what they're doing, because everyone that goes there is sick anyway, so they've always been really on top of it, but I feel like now they'll be like really on top of it. So I feel like I'm going to a safe part of the hospital. I just wish I didn't have to go every single day for an entire month during potential lockdown. Oh, that's another thing that happened. My PICC line that I had in my arm within a week got blood clots in my arm and chest, which is quite unusual for it to happen that fast, but of course I somehow managed to do that within that short amount of time. I ended up in the emergency for an infection, and one of the nurses thought my arm was a bit swollen, and I had 4 doctors and a bunch of nurses tell me, no, it's not swollen, we don't think you have a blood clot, and I just had this gut feeling. I was like, no, like I think you should do an ultrasound, even though I had doctors telling me, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. Did the ultrasound, had multiple clots, so they quite literally ripped the PICC line out of my arm. Like, they rip it out of you. It's like a horrible feeling. So I had that pulled out, and now I'm on blood thinners. I'll be on them for quite a few months. My eyebrows have somewhat actually grown back really fast. With the stronger chemo that I did, I lost every single hair on my entire body. My eyebrow quite literally one night just like fell off. So that was fun. It was just so strong. I had no eyelashes, no eyebrows. Like, my head went completely bald. I have little tiny hairs now on my head. But it's definitely taken a while to get kick-started. But I'm glad that my eyebrows came back. I still don't have eyelashes. They're kind of starting to poke through. That was another thing that got me really, really down the past months, is just being like completely bald. Can't wait to have actual hair again. Yeah, that's my quick little update. I didn't want it to be too long. I just wanted to quickly chuck something up because I had a lot of comments of people wondering why I've disappeared, and that was why. Just went through a bit of a rough time the past few months. But yeah, radiation's meant to be a lot easier on my body. We're doing it, it's very localized, so it's only gonna affect where they're doing it, whereas chemo, it just wipes out your whole body. So I shouldn't feel as bad. I should just be a bit tired. I might get some burns on my chest. But I mean, if that's the worst of it, then it's gonna be such a walk in the park compared to what I've been through, so I'm not too worried about it. They're doing this technique on me where, because it's my chest, I breathe in to 75% capacity of my lungs, and apparently that slightly moves my heart to the side and back, and that means that they can zap where my tumor was without hitting my heart. So that's like really cool that they could do that, because I was quite worried about them zapping my heart. We're also not doing my neck. I did have a few little like cancerous lymph nodes in my neck, but they went away so fast that we're not really worried about them. So we're just doing the main area, which was my chest. Yeah, so that starts on Monday, and I will try to update you guys a little bit sooner than what I have done. Even though I've had a good scan and it looks clear, we won't actually know if I'm in a full remission until 3 months time, because that's how long it takes for the radiation to do its job. So it's going to be a very long 3 months of anxiety. But the fact that I have seen a clear scan before that has really eased my mind. So yeah, I will try to update you guys a little bit sooner than a month's time. And yeah, I hope you're all staying safe and well and indoors. Isolation is key. And I will talk to you soon.